Where's up with him?
Boom, shakalaka boom. We are back. We are live. It's the free range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Back together, and it feels so good. We've got Mr. Shaun YURTKURAN back here in the studio with us. Didn't think we were going to get to do too many more of these, but Shaun will be back effective immediately every Friday, barring work. So with all that said, good morning, Shaun.
Good morning. Good thing judges don't like to work on Fridays. That's the good thing. That's what I've noticed over the last 20 years of practicing law. They don't want to go in, which I love that. That's great.
Coincidentally, I don't like working on Fridays either.
Nobody does. Everybody hates it.
Or Mondays.
Or Tuesdays.
Or Wednesdays.
Any day.
Thursdays, yeah. I don't mind Friday because I can get in here Friday, get it done, and then it's whatever for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Well, for 2, really 3, though, because I'm done by 10. I count that as a whole day. So get with it, hit it, quit it, and start winding it down Sunday afternoon and get ready to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's. I think Friday, doesn't matter how old you get, Friday always, it seems like it's a day you look forward to no matter, I don't care, you're like by 12 in the afternoon, it's like, okay, the day's over, I'm not really getting any work done. I mean, I don't know, you're kind of insane if you're the hard worker Friday afternoon, right? You're like that, you're kind of like a nutbag, I would think.
Yeah, well, the car business would do that to you, and being in sales and stuff. Now,
sure.
Retail, it's different because Friday's when people's pockets start loosening up a little bit and they want to come in and spend some money. So you kind of got to be getting ramped up and getting all motivated, listening to motivational videos and stuff, trying to convince yourself that you've made a good decision in life working retail on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah, I guess that's when they had, people have time to go shopping for things, especially cars on Saturdays. And now things must have changed a lot, though, with the internet, I would think, where Saturdays is not quite the
Saturdays is not the day that it used to be, because people don't have to go looking. I mean, they still do. Don't get me wrong. It's still a day you want to be at work. Even if people aren't buying a car, they are kicking tires on Saturdays. Because there's one thing to look at it on the internet, but there's a whole nother when you want to go touch, smell, feel, drive, all that stuff. Press the buttons, ask salesmen dumbass questions like, what is the trunk space of this compared to the Nissan Maxima? I don't know. Google it.
And then you get one of those salesmen that
I sell Camrys, not Maximas.
You get one of those salesmen that know absolutely nothing about cars. I've had one be like, look, air blows cold. I'm like, oh my God, did you just really say that? I've actually had one say that to me before. When
me and Michael Wimberly were out looking for his next vehicle, and I ended up in that Tesla for a day or so.
Yeah.
We went by a local dealership and looked at, I don't want to say what because they listen and I don't want to roll the guy under the bus too bad here. He was nice, but he was an idiot. And we were looking at a particular vehicle, and he's like, look, the windows, it has power windows.
That's it.
I'm like, this thing is $100,000 vehicle, all electric, and you're wanting to explain to me about the power windows. Now, look, I will give you the benefit. I give my sales guys and girls a lot of benefit of the doubt, but you're going to have to be a little better than power windows on a $100,000 vehicle. Come on, bro.
That reminds me of a time. So in the early 90s, my dad was trying to buy. I'd bought a drum set when I was in 1992 when I was like 12. My dad got me one, but I also wanted a guitar. In that whole era of grunge and metal and everything. And so we were looking for a Marshall amplifier, and we go to all these pawn shops, and we go into one, and the guy shows us one that's sitting there, and he tells my dad, look, it says solid state on the back. My dad just looks at him, and I don't know at this age what that means, solid state, because I was like 12.
Sure.
And we walk, and he just turns around and he says, let's go. We walk out. And I'm like, Dad, why did you get so mad at that guy? He's like, he's talking about that doesn't have tubes in it. Like, this is in the 1960s. I know that. It's solid state. Thank you. He's like that. He's been mad about that for 30 years. Like, the guy actually said that to him. That's a solid state. Like, this was a great feature in 1992 to have a solid state anything,
I know they always said that, but I had no clue what that meant.
Well, at that age, I
still don't.
TVs used to have tubes in them.
Sure.
And I think amplifiers did as well. Of course, at this point, I didn't know what he's talking about, but he had remembered that from the 60s.
Yeah.
And then now it's
I know that tube amplifiers. And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, right. It's So it wasn't like some kind of upgrade. It was modern technology that everybody has at that point. So, and it was just kind of like, why would you tell me that? We all know they're solid state now. Nobody has a tube TV or an amplifier.
But now everybody wants what's old is new again.
Yeah.
And people want the sound of tube amplifiers and, like in the recording studio and stuff. People love all that old stuff.
That's true. I mean, just like record players made that resurgence, 5-7 years ago? Everybody's got a record player. And I love my record player.
Yeah, I do too. I've got one. I don't listen to it enough, but I do still buy vinyl. We were talking about this on the show a little bit yesterday. I'm still a collector of fine vinyl. And I follow this website. It's called YUDiscover. It's not a website. What is a website? It's a retail. It's called the letter U, Discover. And they sell vinyl. And they do a lot of limited edition releases and stuff. So you can sign up for like your favorite artist and you'll get a notification if they release anything in vinyl.
Oh, that's cool.
So every now and then I'll get an email that I wasn't expecting. And, oh, look, let me spend $40 on something I'm never going to listen to. Unless we have a EMP hit us and I got to bust out a xylophone. And wind it up. Which, by the way, I did kind of crack the code there. If we ever get hit with an EMP and all the electronic devices are nuked and we can't ever listen to music again, if you have vinyl and you have a xylophone, or however you say it, xylophone.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what that is?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
So
about.
it's like, for people that don't, it's a wind-up record player and it's got like a tube speaker on it. So you can wind it up and it'll play the vinyl and it'll pipe it through the speaker that's on it, without you having to plug it in for anything. So
and you can play it.
Yep. So you could still listen to Poison and Motley Crue and Master P or whatever with no power.
I think that's actually a good investment right now.
I think so, too.
In the days of AI, when we're at the possible point of extinction in the next decade due to this. So if Skynet attacks, then you can have the xylophone to play your records. Because you won't have electricity.
Yep. Everybody in the comments is asking about Chip's car. This is not the Chip Matthews show, y'all. This is the Clay Edwards and Shaun YURTKURAN show. Chip Matthews' car, he says it got stolen.
Oh.
So I don't know what to tell you. I'm messing with y'all. I'm kidding. Chip told me his car got stolen out of his driveway. He lives in Canton, so I'm assuming it happened in Canton. So that's all I know. Chip claims his car got stolen and said it happened in Canton.
What kind of car is it?
It was his Hyundai Genesis.
Oh, he's got a Genesis also?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's an older one, but yeah, older Genesis. So, so I don't know. It is a Hyundai, so I'm guessing those are. I'm assuming the Genesis are easy to steal too.
I have no idea. I'm gonna have to ask again since I have a Genesis. I'm gonna want to inquire about that. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like Hyundais and Kias?
I thought it was just, but the Hyundai was easier, not the Genesis. I don't know this to be a fact, but I thought that's what it was.
Well, I mean, Hyundai makes Genesis.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. I haven't heard about. I'm going to check today about that. I did not know that.
Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, do it right now. Let's see.
Our Genesis is easy to
I was like,
steal.
Chip says it was his Jaguar. I forgot. Yeah, he has a Jaguar. Well, I'm still curious.
Yeah, I'm trying. I just asked it. It's the internet in here. Now it's working. Okay. It depends on the kind of model. Well, yeah. Thanks, ChatGPT. This is many Hyundai and Kia models plus a few Genesis coupes. How do you pronounce that, Clay? I know you're the car guy.
Coupes.
Coupe. Is that
Coupe.
right? Lacked engine immobilizers. Thieves exploited this by popping open the steering column and using a USB cable to start the car. No key needed. This method went viral on TikTok and led to widespread theft wave. Genesis does not share this vulnerability. Models like the G70, that's what I got, has a push-button start, so that's not the problem. Okay, good. So mine can't get stolen. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. No, say no more, fam. Say no more.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
But you know what I loved about that was that the city of Jackson decided to sue Hyundai.
I remember that.
And Kia
that's so ridiculous.
Because their cars were too easy to steal. Let's blame it on the victim.
I mean, do they have a duty to? I don't know of any legal theory about. I have to look this up too. That they have a duty to make sure their cars not easily stolen. I don't think so.
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to go with no too, just but common sense wise. Now, the law can sometimes be not common sense, so I'd have to check that. But yeah, it seems a bit ridiculous. Especially, I don't know how that the city has standing for that anyway. Like, the city's not the victim; it's the person who owns the car.
These little thugs and future rocket scientists and engineers we've raised around here are stealing cars, but it's not their fault. Mm-hmm. They're just doing a TikTok trend. No, they're stealing. It's called Grand Theft Auto.
Well,
It's more than a video game. It's an actual crime.
I wonder, how easy do you think it is to get, like, if you go steal a car, it seems to me nowadays with modern cars, that it's got to be much more difficult than, and not talking about actually the stealing of it, but not being caught and found with it, because they all got trackers. Yeah. I mean, so how do you get away with it?
Well, they have trackers in a sense, but most of them, like, you can go back and pull the data out of the if they have an infotainment system, you know, the law enforcement can go pull the data out of those, like they did with Polo or others. They'll go pull that and see like where they had been and all that other stuff, all that information. So it's like, if you're ever going to go commit a crime, don't go in a car that has an infotainment system, and not just nav, but any of that stuff. They can go and pull all that data and find out where you've been, how fast you were going. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
Just like if you have your cell phone with you,
right?
I mean, you can. That's the thing I learned over years of prosecuting, and now on the defense side, you know, commit a crime, toss your phone, just toss it.
Yep. Don't take your friend. If you're going to go do something, do it by yourself, and go in a pre 2000s vehicle without nav or a smart system, and throw your phone away.
Yeah.
Leave the phone at home.
No,
and your driver and your ID.
I might put that on my law firm website actually today.
Don't take your driver's license or wallet with you to commit a crime. How often have we heard about somebody dropping their wallet at the scene?
Oh, all the time. I mean,
it got stolen.
One of my favorite stories is, you know, of course, these dumb criminal stories, but one that I encountered was a guy robbed his girlfriend in the McDonald's drive-thru. Like, she was the clerk, you know, the cashier at the McDonald's drive-thru in Jackson, and the guy, like, robbed it. But they weren't, apparently she wasn't in on it. At least that's what they said at the time. And he had a mask on. I don't know if he expected her to be working or what, but anyway. That was one of those ridiculous things I've ever seen.
We must be on a serious delay this morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm just now getting texts and comments from people. And apparently I have butchered xylophone.
I got one of those too.
Apparently it is not a xylophone.
What is it?
It is a gramophone.
Okay.
And if you do, this is according to Lloyd and multiple other people, but Lloyd Travis is the one I've seen the most, and I like Lloyd, so we'll go with Lloyd. Lloyd says it is the record player you're referring to is called a gramophone, not a xylophone, and you definitely do not want to play modern records on them. They are meant to play acoustic 78 RPM records. They'll destroy LPs. Well, damn it. What can I do to play my vinyl collection if the power goes out?
I thought so. There's not there's not the wind-up record players. Maybe I'm watching too many movies.
I'm same.
Okay,
like
with the big horn on it.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Is that not the gramophone?
Is that what it is?
Is that the gramophone?
That's what I was thinking. You know what I'm thinking?
I know
the same thing, right?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I just thought it was called a xylophone, and I done cracked the code over here. But I'd come up with something nobody else thought of.
It says the gramophone was invented in the late 1800s. It used flat discs records instead of Edison's cylinders. So did it use records or not? It's saying it did.
Well, apparently they're called 78s.
Okay.
78 RPM records versus whatever the newer one is.
I feel like we're getting into the gun argument when people will get on us for saying assault weapon or something.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, no, that's
no such thing as an assault rifle.
Stop it.
Read.
It's like, it's a gramophone. It's a gramophone.
It's a gramophone.
Sorry, I think everybody knew our intent. Like, it's the wind-up thing that you could use without electricity. Like, that's what we're discussing.
I love offers on YouTube says it's called a generator. You get a generator. Well, no, but if an EMP hits, generators don't work either, according to what I saw on TV.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Y'all don't remember that show where an EMP had hit the world and there was no power left except for the rich and powerful people. Only they had power and nobody else did. And
that sounds like par for the course. Right? Like, that's probably what would happen.
Oh yeah, it was like secret power that you could find.
Secret power,
like secret power. It was held by the George Soros of the world, the Elon Musk of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good show. It was on NBC for several seasons. I watched a few of them. It was pretty good conspiratorial, but then it just kind of ended, I think, and it ended on a cliffhanger, and they didn't renew. And so many great shows that I watched did that, because we actually had some really good shows in the 2005s to 2010 through 2010s. You know, they kind of dove off into the kind of conspiratorial stuff that I like, and then they would just end. Well, what happened? I need to know. they never picked them up,
like The Sopranos last episode, where it just stopped. And you don't know what happened.
Well, that was left up to your imagination.
Yeah.
You know, but we knew that was the last episode. These other ones end on a season cliffhanger.
I kind of remember what you're talking about. What shows were that? Now that's like bringing back some like PTSD.
Revolution is what it was called.
Okay.
Everinium says. It was really good. You can find it on NBC. And there was several seasons. There's 5 or 6 seasons of it. So it's worth watching. But it did. I want to say it ended on a cliffhanger. And we never got to find out who had the power. Or who cut the power off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're right. There were several shows like that ended. Like there was like a trend. It's kind of like when the movies they make two different
Netflix
studios.
is terrible. Their Netflix originals are the most lazy written movies ever. Very M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah. They just end. There was an End of the World movie on Netflix, and the people were escaping like a volcano or something, or they were trying to get down a mountain, and it just ends, and I guess we're left to assume that they just got devoured by the fire. Like, no, that is the laziest writing ever. We got to take a break.
Sorry.
We'll be right back. We got Shaun YURTKURAN, Clay Edwards here on a FAFO Friday. Swing by the website, buy a new FAFO shirt or cap today at buyfafo.com. It will get shipped today if in stock. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Sorry, I had 2 things playing there. I forgot to have my phone on, too. So, anyway, we're back here live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios. It is the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun YURTKURAN. Back here for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's back on. He's on the radio all the time, but back here on my show for the first time in a long time. So glad to have Shaun back here. He'll be here every Friday with us with the YURTKURAN law firm. Shaun, tell people how to get in touch with you.
Well, as Matt has told me, the best way is onetextlaw.com because then nobody will remember my number. So if you go to onetextlaw.com, you can reach me or look me up on Facebook.
The number or the spelling, right?
The number or the spelling. You can go get it that way. And if you've got any problems, whether it's you've been in a car wreck or you have killed somebody, I'm the guy to call.
Or been accused of killing somebody.
Accused of somebody. Yeah. I don't judge.
Yeah.
That's up to somebody else.
Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, Shaun is one of the best criminal defense attorneys in the state. And, Shaun, tell people real quick, you started a new podcast, right?
Yeah, I'm doing one called Both Sides of the Bench.
Or a new YouTube channel where you're going to be doing things.
And it's
I love the name Both Sides of the Bench. Like, when I saw that yesterday, when you and Kingfish were filling in for Lindsay and you streamed it to your new channels, I was like, I really like that because you had the experience of being a prosecutor for 10 years. And now a criminal defense attorney, so you've literally been on both sides of the bench.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it, trying to kind of give that perspective because I've been watching. Speaking of Lindsay, she's always into the true crime stuff, and I never really got into it for obvious reasons. I've just lived it. It's not something I've just been down rabbit holes.
It's not true crime; it's true life for you.
It's true life, yeah. So, but and how women for some reason are just obsessed with this. They know everything about. True
they
crime.
all want to be a victim of true crime.
You've told me that for a while, and I think that might be true, actually.
Women want to be victims of true crime, and minorities want to be victims of racism.
I mean, I guess if you know, women are I wish there was. I'm sure there's data on this, like what the percentage of women that consume this true crime stuff. It's got to be like 80% women and 20%
10 to 1, 10 to 2 at least. Yeah,
got to be. And they just all these YouTube channels, and there's all these people that don't have any. Some lawyers are doing it. But there's the majority of them that are real popular seem to be people that are not even, they've never been lawyers, never been cops, and they're talking about the stuff and giving these really inaccurate perspectives. So I thought, okay, well, why don't I talk about it? I mean, I've done all this for so long, so let me talk about it. And I got some other friends of mine that are going to show up from time to time who are prosecutors, and they, I figure we can just kind of tell stories that nobody ever hears, like the stuff like the crap talk behind the scenes, because there's a lot of that, and I feel like people would be interested in like, wow, did you really say that about that person? And
it's why people love wrestling shoot interviews.
Yep,
it's like people want to know, okay, yeah, but how did like the famous plane ride from hell? Mm-hmm. It lives in wrestling fan lore, and it's where they were coming back from overseas, and Ric Flair apparently did the Flair strut naked in nothing but his robe down the aisle, and Brock Lesnar literally and Kurt Angle literally got into a fight on the plane, and it's just all these things happened. There were lawsuits about sexual harassment and just all kind of stuff. But podcasts with people that were on the plane about that topic are massive. The incident, where was it that where Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, the whole incident where
The Montreal
screw job.
I was about to say, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what city in Canada.
Yeah, Montreal
screw job. I mean, there's been documentaries
sure.
about that. People love that behind the scenes stuff, like what really happened.
Yeah.
So I think you'll do great with it. Is my point for that same reason.
That actually, I watched that this weekend. I was telling you last night about the Montreal screw job and that he really did deck McMahon. Apparently, like that actually happened.
Oh, he knocked McMahon out.
Yeah, he really did do that. But yeah, we were gonna. There's funny things. Like I think a lot of times the way this is portrayed is because we were gonna do a lot of it is gonna be from the prosecution angle. That everybody's out there like seeking justice, and it's this like pithic thing. And I think a lot of times what you don't know is. Like, I'll give you an example. I've told you these stories where, like, somebody I remember I prosecuted who he had killed just a ton of people, and then he got killed. And I prosecuted the guy and convicted the guy that killed him. And afterwards, my boss and a couple of guys were like, did like a Toyota jumper, like, that's a 2-for-1, man. And what's in it? That's like everybody in the office saying, like, 2-for-1. I mean, it's stuff like that. I think that people
Toyota?
Yeah, that's not all this like, oh man, we're here for truth, justice, and the American way. A lot of it's logistics more than anything else.
Somebody just asked where we're not live on Rumble. We should be live on Rumble. I apologize if we're not. Let me shoot a reply to her real quick. I don't normally do this mid thing, but we got somebody wanting to listen. I want to be able to assist them listening.
On Rumble.
Sorry. All right. Sorry. I apologize for that, y'all.
No.
So let's do this. We got about a minute left. Let's shoot the breeze for a minute here. Okay. And when we come back from the break, I want to get into the D.C. being cleaned up by Trump and just how that, if that works, is that a bad sign for Democrat cities nationally, or a good sign if you're
live in one?
If you live in one,
you live in one,
and you're not so ate up by politics that you think fighting crime is racist.
Yeah, I think that ties in well with the Capitol Police stuff too.
I do too.
An angle where we can that's a.
I brought that up on the show the other day, and that was kind of my angle talking about it. I said we've actually been doing this here, and we know this works here. I heard you and Kingfish dabble off into it a little bit yesterday, using the same thing, and I think that Jackson was kind of the blueprint for showing that if the state or feds get involved and do this and do it right, it can absolutely make a huge difference. And the people who are screaming that they're against it actually have to kind of come around and admit that they're for it, our current mayor in Jackson being one of them.
Yeah, now he is. And at least he's willing to do that. I'll give him credit for that. I think it's interesting. You sent me that thing last night with, what's her name, Simone, that had made a comment to Joe Scarborough about
yeah, we'll play that. I'm glad you mentioned that. I need to cue that up.
She said we got to rethink how to fight crime. We've known how to fight crime for thousands of years. Like, there's a way. Bad people do bad things. You arrest them, and there's punishment, and that's generally the formula.
Well, what she meant was,
I know where you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say what she meant was we had to figure out a way to quit arresting black people for committing crimes.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I mean that's what she meant, and that's what we have to get away from, that mentality that somehow fighting crime is racist.
Yeah, I agree with that point. I think I don't know. I guess, and I've seen not just her, but I've seen a lot of people talk about rethinking the way you fight crime.
Sure.
I mean, I think there's things you can do.
You want to reimagine crime fighting.
I mean, there's things you can do. Even I've discussed this, the drug laws. Of course, I'm completely against the way the war on drugs and how useless that's been. And there's a lot of angles to that. But at the end of the day, the foundation of it is bad people do bad things. They get arrested. And it's just the foundation of the whole thing. Yeah. And then after that, you can tweak around. And there's a lot of problems, that we've made with the laws that we do have. But at the base level, that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, what it is they want to say that due to generational poverty and these things, that we should punish the people that are minorities in these cities differently. That we should look at the punishment. We should look at the punishment should be different for them. And I'm like, no, that's actually racism.
Yeah, I don't think. I think the punishment. I think the whole problem was when we were talking about, you and I were talking the other day about truth and sentencing in the 90s. That crack cocaine was punished harder, and that was an issue because it seemed like it affected minorities.
Sure, and I have a problem with that.
Right,
100%.
And so we wanted to make it equal. So I think sentencing should be equal regardless of socioeconomic status, race, ethnicity, whatever.
Who
yeah,
whatever.
But we know it's not. We know who is a big part of it too. That changes things.
Do you Plies, the rapper, had a song, and he's gone completely TDS ridden now. I can't listen to him anymore. But in his earlier albums, he had a song. And in the intro, it was like a a white lawyer and a white DA talking about, I'll trade you this one for this one. Basically, I'll trade you this black guy for this white guy. You let him off, and we'll give you him. That kind of thing. Do you think that kind of stuff actually goes on?
I've not seen. Nah, I mean, at least not in my experience, I didn't see that.
Because if it was ever going to happen, I feel like it happened in Mississippi.
Yeah, I don't know. That's nothing I ever experienced. I think more.
I know you wouldn't have experienced. I know you wouldn't have stood up for that. But I'm saying, have you ever heard like rumors of stuff like that? Let me reform the question there.
No, not really.
Any folklore around City Hall? That yeah, man, we let the white boy off, or we traded the white boy for the black boy. Or vice versa in modern era?
No one's ever told me that.
Yeah.
What I've seen, I've obviously seen people get preferential treatment in the system that shouldn't have. I'll use an example was Kingfish reported this extensively, and for the younger folks out there, the Karen Irby case. During that case, she and this is of course in Hinds County, and she was sentenced by a black circuit judge, which is Tommy Green at the time. And she ended up.
Is her name Tommy or Tommy?
Tommy, excuse me. I always forget.
Well, I'm just curious. I've said it both different ways myself. Go ahead. That was miscellaneous.
She got a lot of leniency on that thing, and then she eventually her sentence was commuted by Governor Barber.
Well, didn't the family of the victims come out and speak out for her, saying that they didn't think she should go to jail forever?
I was there that day actually when that was going on, and I'll never forget it because it's one of those things that just impacts you. Because I was like, God, are these people like selling out their family members for cash? That's the way it felt. I don't know if that's what exactly happened, but that's the way it kind of felt. And because they were saying that Karen had been beaten by Stuart Irby in the car, and that's what caused the wreck. But I don't know that I saw any evidence that said that, except for she said that, as far as I remember, at the time. And it just felt like a setup, basically that in real time. And I think Judge Green gave her 10 years to serve on manslaughter, which you do halftime on that. I believe that was right. I'd have to look that up again. But she ended up doing like 3 years because Governor Barber then commuted it. So,
all right, let's take a break real quick. We got a caller on hold on the Mazda Jackson phone line. The comments are pouring in. Thank you, everybody, for the early happy birthdays. My birthday is Sunday. I will put my Cash App up there so y'all can all have that. If you want to Cash App me a little something, I would be greatly appreciative. I'll tell you about where we're going to have lunch later today and more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards and Shaun YURTKURAN show on Fridays. It's equal billing here on Fridays. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay and Shaun extravaganza here. When Legends Rise is the name of today's show. And that is what we are. We are legends, and we have risen from the ashes of not doing shows together. And I know that me calling us legends just absolutely grinds some people's gears because they take it way too serious. Shout out to the haters out there. But I am a legend, damn it, in my own mind. A pimp in my own time.
Everybody should be positive, right?
Everybody
About
should
themselves.
Be, everybody should be a legend in their own mind. Like, you should be your biggest fan. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I would. Well, I think it's better than being your biggest enemy because a lot of people are their own enemies.
Absolutely, that is a great point. I love that, Shaun.
I think you're better off being your biggest fan than you are being your.
Be your biggest fan. Like, look at the mirror and be like, "Damn you, sexy beast." Like I go back and listen to my podcasts and stuff and laugh at my own jokes and everything. Damn, that was a good one.
Yeah, I have a problem laughing at my own, especially when I write a Facebook post. I'll cackle while I'm writing it.
Do you think Kingfish laughs at his own jokes?
Yeah, I know he does. When he's on the phone with you, he has that long laugh too, where he does it, and you're like, and it's almost like a villainous laugh.
Do you think he literally pats himself on the back?
Yes, I absolutely believe that he'll do that. I'm sure. He does
I think so too.
I think he. Yeah, I can. I'm just visualizing this in my head, especially when I have phone conversations with him, and he does the laugh too because he's very happy with himself.
Real quick, speaking of narcissistic behavior, I'm throwing myself a bit of a birthday lunch today, sort of. I've got a meeting at 10:30 with somebody, and then after that, I'm just going to say 12:30 to give myself enough time. Today is ribeye steak sandwich day at Cypress Point Resort at the garage, at Cameron's Garage out there in the sports bar. Guys, it is 16 ounces of legitimate ribeye steak. It's that fat-infused steak. It is phenomenal. And I'm just saying 12:30, if anybody's interested. No haters, please. I don't feel like fighting on my lunch break. But in normal people, Yeah, let me just tell you, you bring any of that shenanigans out to Cypress Point, there's a lot of land out there. You could disappear, be fed to those animals on the safari ride. It's probably the one place you don't want to FAFO at. I'm just saying. And now I'm speaking on my behalf, not them. They wouldn't know I did this. They're not encouraging.
Well, now everybody would know you do this, though. See, that's going to be hard for the defense on that.
Not if they're fed to the animals and nobody can ever find them.
That's a good point.
It's Ed Gein type stuff here. Is it Gein or Gein?
I'm not sure.
Gein?
Gin?
Gin,
I think.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's the guy from, oh God, refresh my memory. What is it?
Well, he's the guy
I know the name.
He's the guy that they say all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies are kind of based on.
Okay.
Even though it happened in like Ohio or Minnesota or something. And they seem
Texas
to me have
is a better venue.
They seem to have nothing to do with one another to me. I'm like, how did y'all get that from this? But whatever. Yeah, he would like kill the people and feed them to his pigs.
That's right. Because Ohio Chainsaw Massacre just sounds like a fat dude, that's the boring blue. Yeah, it just doesn't.
Like all the good serial killers come from in Ohio, though.
They do. A lot of them, like
Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy. Mm-hmm. Was Ted Bundy from there?
He was from the Northwest.
That's right. He was from like Washington State, mm-hmm. Right? But you had John Wayne Gacy, and you had some others that were all from that mid Ohio.
There was a lot of them from
area
Ohio.
There. I don't know what it is about Ohio.
A lot of presidents and serial killers.
Yeah,
are from Ohio. That's
weird. Well, circling back to the ribeye steak sandwich, hard transition here. Not that kind, lefties. Today, 12:30, the ribeye steak sandwich is the plate lunch of the day. Look, it's $18.95. It's going to be a little bit more than your average plate lunch, but you're getting a lot more than your average plate lunch too. It's big enough to feed two people, but why in God's name would you share something this good? Just eat it all or get it to go. But come hang out with me. Little birthday gathering. You can buy my lunch if you want to. More than anything, I just want you to tip the server really well. So we'll never, ever want any server to have a bad experience with a party that included Clay Edwards. So Cypress Point Resort out there in Rankin County, formerly McLean Lodge. We're going to be there today, 12:30, having a good old time, eating the ribeye steak sandwich for lunch. Everybody's invited. I hope you'll come. If you are coming, text me and let me know. The Guns and Gear text line, that come straight to my cell phone, is 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. Shoot me a text there, or if you know my other cell phone number, shoot me a text there. Whatever. To get in touch with me, by any means necessary, let me know so I can kind of give them a heads up and maybe get us a table or something like that. But it's not required. Just show up more than anything. All right, Shaun YURTKURAN, Washington, D.C.
Yep.
Federal President Trump said, and I mean, this happened fast too. President Trump said, I am federalizing the police department. In so many words, he has the right to, as the president, to do that. And man, they have wasted no time. And it's crazy to me. Well, it's not crazy. I fully expected it. But to see the kickback from the blacks and the white liberals talking about this is racism, Washington, D.C. is safe, it's historically low crime. Yeah, but it's still historically high simultaneously. It's still very dangerous in Washington, D.C. And Shaun, you know, like I do, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you know that they're fudging the numbers on the crime statistics. They're not reporting a lot of violent crimes to the feds. It's the same thing here in Jackson. Yeah, it's what me and C.J. LeMasters went round and round about. No, the crime is down. Like, no, C.J., what they're reporting is down. The eyeball test.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think it's almost like a feeling that you have in the community when you know your neighbor got armed robbed in the driveway. Then there's a problem. I mean, I think that's what was happening to me in Belhaven and the residents over there. So I think you kind of know that there's a difference. And I think I told you yesterday. I had a really good friend who lives in Hawaii now. Just moved from was living in D.C. for like 20 years, and you know he's not a Trump guy. He's a liberal, and he said, man, we had to get out of there because they won't. If somebody breaks in your house, they're not going to show up. It's that bad. It just got out of control. So, I mean, I think if you live in D.C., the people in D.C. know the issues. That's more like outside noises saying that it's kind of like Jackson. I think when they would, if you remember during the Capitol Police thing, they would go out and interview residents, and most of them, black or white, were saying, no, we really want this.
Yeah.
Like, it was just the politicos and people thinking, like virtue signaling, saying we don't want this. But when you talk to the average citizen who's just mowing his yard and going to work and trying to raise his kids, he was like, no, this is good. Like, bring us the cops. Like, it didn't matter what race you were. So,
you know, not to all roads lead back to school choice, but it does kind of remind me a little bit different scenario, obviously, of the school choice. It feels like this is the politicos that keep shoving this on everybody's throat, that the general public in mass doesn't seem to be on board. And HB 1020 and the Capitol Police here locally kind of felt the same way. It was like the politicos and the NPC bots under them that kind of go along to get to whatever they say, all were like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is racism, this is this, that, yada, yada, yada. But then the minute it got implemented, it's like, oh, yeah, you know what? I actually like living in a safe neighborhood. I actually like not having to look over my shoulder. You should always look over your shoulder and have situational awareness.
Right.
But, you know, you actually like being able to get comfortable and have a quality of life. And I'm telling you, if you've lived in Jackson for a long time, you have a form of PTSD, whether you realize it or not. And I did. And Shaun, when I got to Rankin County, it took me just a little bit to kind of let my guard down some. And man, just that level of stress that is removed when you live somewhere that crime is actually fought and it's crime is frowned upon.
Yeah.
It is, you don't even realize the level of stress you're living with, having to have so much situational awareness, sitting at red lights and making sure your doors are locked and spinning your head around or running red lights and stop signs because it's dangerous to stop at them. I know I don't sound like it on the radio, but I do give people a bit of a pass in Jackson to an extent, with their very aggressive driving and their angry mood all the time, because I had that when I was living there and didn't even realize it until I left. And it's like, man, it is so nice to not have to worry about these things at that level.
Yeah. No, I think it's true. But I think that most of the people that live, like we're just saying, in Jackson are against crime. You know, that the resident that has a job, normal citizen, whatever. The example that it's like a politico media narrative, and Lindsay and I talked about this during the Capitol Police case, and I used this in one of our live streams. I used the example. So NBC had an article about the two Capitol Police officers, Michael Reinwald and Stephen Frederick, that were indicted for manslaughter by the Attorney General.
I ran into Frederick the other night,
and NBC's article though was Mississippi officers shoot young father, right? Remember we went over that?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the narrative, like it was this guy was like a young father, and they want, that's what they want the public to see, but the guy ended up, he really is a dope dealer, a bunch of guns and dope in the car, trying to run over the cops. So, like, I feel like, but the people in Jackson know that. Like, they knew, but NBC is trying to tell the rest of the world and everybody else that, no, it's really this, and these guys are some, some killing cops, whatever way you want to put it. And it's not that there's a crime problem. It's just that these guys just want to just randomly kill young fathers, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Let's take a break real quick. We're up against the wall there. I want to keep this topic going. We got a bunch of good clips and stuff. Morning Joe Scarborough, after living in a delusional haze of Trump derangement syndrome for the last 8 years, shockingly is on the side of Washington, D.C. being safe, and admits that there is, in fact, a crime problem, and is with President Trump's initiative to fight said crime. His guest may be more surprised than I am. We'll be right back here with Shaun YURTKURAN on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios with Shaun YURTKURAN and Clay Edwards here on a FAFO Friday. That's right. Guys, if you want to be as good-looking and muscular and have to beat the women off with a stick like Shaun and I do, it starts with texting my name, Clay, to 601-800-5031 and getting that complimentary testosterone screening at Men's Health of Mississippi and getting on the juice, son. Just put the pedal to the metal, all gas, no brakes, testosterone for days. Look, after you've been doing it a while, you put off a scent, and women know it. It's that alpha male scent. It's that boss scent. They can just scent it. We're animals at the end of the day, whether people want to admit it or not. We are still animals, and women know when you got low testosterone, they don't like it. You got high testosterone, they know it. They love it, and they want more of it. We'll be right back for hour two. Boom goes the dynamite. It's hour two of the most incendiary show on the This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. We've got Shaun YURTKURAN with the YURTKURAN Law Firm and host of his new show, Both Sides of the Bench. That's right, both sides of it. Not just one side, both sides. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Both sides of the bench. Here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Guys, it is a Friday. It's a FAFO Friday, and you can't fo if you don't do a little bit of fa. And a great place to get started with your fa-ing. Okay, I got to stop the stick here. I'm going to end up saying it on accident. But look, swing by 042 Wine and Spirits and get loaded up this weekend for all your partying and dinners and anything else you may need some spirits for. My friends over there have got their own, not brand, but their own private select, small barrel, private barrel, small batch. I get it all confused. They got an 042 hand-selected Penelope Project X bourbon available right now exclusively. They're the only place in the state that has this right now. It's an amazing bourbon. They've also got their name on the bottle. It's cool. You bourbon lovers know what I'm talking about. But you folks like me who are just getting into small batch bourbons and kind of collecting this stuff and amassing it, this is really cool to learn that these liquor stores have enough whatever the word I'm looking for here is. Shaun, what would be the word I'm looking for here? They have enough
inventory?
No, not inventory. They have enough moxie.
Oh, okay.
And influence. They have enough influence. They have enough of a customer base that they wield enough of a customer base. Dang it, I hate morning times sometimes. There's just little.
What time did you get up this morning too? I got about 4:30. That's when I got up, 4:30.
About 4:30. 4:30. And they wield enough influence with these liquor companies. They're there. I pieced the sentence together. They wield enough influence with these liquor companies that they have invited them to come out and have their own private barrel to come back, and they'll bottle it and everything, and they send it here to Mississippi, which is really cool. Try that Penelope. They've also got a few bottles of that Four Roses left, and it's got their logo and everything on the side of it. It's one of their harder to find of their 10 Four Roses recipes. Swing by, check them out today. And, of course, they have all your other stuff, too. You want some Jim Beam, you need some Jack, need some regular old vodka. They got all that. They got all the boutique brands and the craft brands and all of that stuff as well. They've got some Mississippi bottled wine. I saw that yesterday. I had to swing by. Yep, they've got some different wines that are made right here in Mississippi.
I didn't know we made wines here.
I didn't either. They got a table as soon as you walk in with Mississippi bottled wines there. It's right there, Highway 80, right next to Sonny's Barbecue in Brandon.
I keep thinking, when you say Sonny's Barbecue on 80, I'm always going to think South Jackson.
Me
for
too.
The rest of my life, I think that's,
Me too, always. But look, swing by, check them out today or tomorrow. Now, FYI, just a reminder, Brandon liquor stores close at 8, not 10. So do make arrangements to get by there before 8 o'clock. And get your evening started at get your weekend started at 042 Wine and Spirits. Man, they have a huge selection of wine out there. As I've gotten older, I'm just not drinking as much beer, and I am drinking more liquor, mixed drinks, wine in particular, and some bourbons here lately. I still like my beer, don't get me wrong. But as far as just like sipping on something during the week, instead of wanting to, because one beer don't do anything for me.
Yeah, no.
2 beers, 3 beers.
It'll just piss you off.
Yeah, like I really need it's a 6-pack or bust.
Right.
You know, like,
and then you're like almost 1,000 calories in.
Yeah, and you also got to go to bed early, got to wake up early, well, got to wake up early anyway, regardless of what time you go to bed, to get up and do this. You're peeing a bunch. The juice just isn't worth the squeeze during the week. Yeah. So, but if I want to take the edge off a little bit and, unwind some, a nice, glass of bourbon or a glass of wine or two, it's way more feasible during the week than having to open up a 6-pack. And I've got to where I don't want just light beer. I want Andy Gator. I want some flavor, dang it. And so, anyhow, swing by the liquor store this weekend. Tell them I sent you. 042 Wine and Spirits. Tell them I said, hey, you're going to be blown away at the selection they got there. All right, let's see here. Shaun, I've got something queued up here.
Yeah.
I want to stay on topic for a minute on the D.C. crime, and they just placed Judge Janine Perino. Am I saying her name? Janine Perino, Judge Perino.
Piro, yeah, something like that.
She was on Fox News forever.
Yeah,
she is the judge up there in D.C. now that will be charging these people. Will be handling these cases of people that get charged with federal crimes. And how about the guy, the absolute idiot of the day, the FAFO champion of the week, the guy that worked for the Department of Justice that decided to throw a Subway sandwich at a federal agent. Have you seen this?
No, I've not.
Oh, yeah. So what people
I was unplugging for a couple of weeks, Well, it's been a lot of sports talk.
Well, I'm plugging you back in.
Yeah, I know. I gotta
I'm plugging you back in here real quick. We got this playing. Let's see. And this is Judge Janine talking about this.
So President Trump has vowed to make D.C. safe and beautiful again. And as part of his effort to fight crime, he's bringing in our federal law enforcement partners like FBI, ATF, DEA, or Park Police, everybody to help the Metropolitan PD fight crime. And the president's message to the criminals was, if you spit, we hit. Well, we didn't quite do that the other night when an individual went up to one of the federal law enforcement officers.
Quick pause. He made her U.S. attorney, not judge. Right. My apologies. Thank you, Corey.
And started jumping up and down, screaming at him, berating him, yelling at him. And then he took a Subway sandwich about this big and took it and threw it at the officer. He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there, stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
Love it.
So President...
Love it. Shaun, were you able to watch over there? Did you see what we were doing?
I can't see it.
So you haven't seen this video? Go to my X.
Okay, I'll pull my phone. I can't.
Yeah, go to my X. And I just kind of want you to watch that. Well, you don't have to, but go to I'm going to hit retweet on the same real quick, just so you can see it. Let's see here.
Got you pulled up.
Yeah, okay. I just hit repost. Okay. There you go. So it should be on top of my X. And it's an idiot, a white guy.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
In a pink shirt there.
Oh, that's a...
Walks up.
Ooh, that was stupid.
Yeah, well, so come to find out, he works for the Department of Justice. Worked.
What did he do?
Got fired.
No, what did he do?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But he's one of these wokesters. See, what's happening right now in live time, Shaun, is Democrats who have, and the wokes or whatever, are finding out that this whole performative nonsense they've been doing the last few years, where they get up in cops' faces and scream and cuss and spit in their faces, basically, and they weren't being arrested. They're finding out that that's all over with, and that now we are in the find out phase of the effing around process. The lines the chart has intersected.
That makes me think of something actually here that I was talking to somebody about yesterday. And you and I have discussed this. Obviously, I know we have some disagreements about immigration. I'm obviously not a fan of the ICE raids on various businesses and whatnot. But not to get into that subject, but what I'm saying is what I do have a problem with are the attacks on ICE agents in particular. I may not agree with the policy, but these guys are doing their job. Like, this is your job. You're hired to do it. They're not doing anything illegal. So I don't think you should be attacked for doing your job. Like, it's not something – they're not doing something unconstitutional. They're not – they're not abusing people. And I think that's the problem, that we have this – we have a lack of respect for authority even when you disagree. Like, there's still a rule of law, and you got to follow it, whether you like it or not, and that sucks. I get it that sometimes you don't like what it is. I don't like that policy at all. I don't. But I don't think the ICE agents are to be the force of the ire. They're doing their job. They're hired. They're law enforcement. They should do it. And that's the video kind of reminded me of that, where you're taking out on these guys. They're cops. They're the police. I mean, they're not.
It's like the people who don't want the ICE agents to wear masks.
Yeah,
they're wearing masks because
they're getting doxxed.
Yeah, their families are getting doxxed
for doing their job. And
for doing their jobs,
and they're
not criminals. They can't wear a mask. I mean, the argument against this it's just mind-boggling to me. Well, you don't want criminals wearing masks anymore. Why do the ICE agents? Well, they're not criminals.
No, I mean,
you people are crazy, and you're assaulting their family members and stalking their kids. That's how you die.
Well, I think, and I always try to be pretty consistent on this. if you don't like law or policy, you have a recourse. It's called the ballot box. You know, that's the way. It's not violence. And I know you and I, not to get in January 6th, but the same way I feel about that. Like, you don't like things, and look, there was recourse. You know, President Trump was reelected. I think we have a legal way to do things, and that's the way we should do them. Like this, you know, performative stuff or people acting out in any other way is just at the end of the day, none of it changes anything. It's just, you know, you get in trouble and you look stupid and everybody's terrorized. And I just think, you know, it's dumb. And especially for our police officers, because they've, I don't know when police officers became the enemy of society. And I think that's a shame, considering, you know, how difficult that job is. Like, I mean, these guys out there are trying to like prevent you from getting hurt. Essentially, that's the job. It's almost like hating the military. Like, why would you do that? Like, they're out there protecting the country. Like, why are jobs where people are protecting you so hated? And that's a shame. I mean, I don't know why anybody wanted to be a police officer these days. I don't know if I told you this yet, but I got the Police Benevolence Association called me, and so I'm on their list. So now I'm representing police officers for the part of the nation.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, you know, I was talking to the guy about it. Just a shame.
And you got that via your support for law enforcement on the radio,
for the
right?
Capitol Police officers, right? That's when they called me up, and Francis Springer, who's representing, recommended me for it. And it's a great thing because these guys are like, not only are they facing like public back, they almost kind of remind me of the soldiers coming back from Vietnam. Like people were throwing things at them. Like, I get that the Vietnam policy was a bad policy. It was a bad war. It was stupid. 100% agree with all that. But it wasn't the guy in the Army's fault. He was doing what he was told. He was doing his job. Go to war. That's what you got to do. And the cops are, doing the same thing. And I think now what we're doing, we're rewarding them by this kind of stuff and indicting them like we do here locally, which is just insane to me.
Well, it's like people who it's people who see Rankin County deputies and disrespect them over what the other bunch did.
Yeah, because it's got nothing to do with those guys. I mean, it's
Nothing.
just it doesn't have anything to do. But and that's even more of an extreme example, because you're talking about, okay, well, there's an organization which did have a bad group of people, and it's one of those, one bad apple spoils the bunch kind of thing, and that's unfortunate. But this is like the majority of police officers are not doing things like this. Kingfisher and I were talking about that Gaddis guy in Ridgeland the other day.
I heard y'all I was getting angry listening to y'all talk about that yesterday. Not because of y'all, but just thinking about what he was doing. Because people forgotten, remember he called into my radio show.
That's right. I think I was here.
I think you were here with me that day. He called in and snitched on himself because we were talking about it and he couldn't stand it. And he called in and like gave his side of everything. But again, his side was an edited video that it was manipulated out of context and out of order to make him look like the victim.
100%. I mean,
and he sat there and did all that nonsense, and I wasn't even aware of that at the time, but it all came out, and it's like, man, sure, the cop said I'm going to F him up, and he probably shouldn't have said that, but I also don't care.
Well,
Did he F him up? No. So saying it and doing it are two different things. The cop's got freedom of speech.
And yeah, okay, I agree with you, and I said that yesterday on air, that should he have said that? No. But you have to look at the context and what cops have to do this 7 days a week. Deal with people like this that are acting out in these capacities. Man, those guys are human. They get frustrated. They're like, God bless it, I was pulling you over for a freaking tag. All you had to do is say, I'm sorry, sir, and I'd give you a ticket, or maybe not giving you one, and just told you to renew the tag, and you'd go on your merry way, and I'd go on my merry way. No big deal. But you turn this into a whole incident over absolutely nothing, like something stupid. And then, yeah, he's pissed. I mean, he's human. Yeah, I get it. He shouldn't have said it, but, I've said a lot of things I shouldn't say when I'm pissed, and I think we all have. So I think that's forgivable. But that guy Gaddis, if all he had done was just say, yes, sir, here, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to get this fixed or whatever. Or I think he had the tag in the back of the car. It just wasn't displayed properly or whatever. That thing would have been a 5-minute ordeal. But instead it's become a local viral video over absolutely nothing.
Well, it's like, Kingfish brought it up and he hit the nail on the head. It's like there's this myth going around now that you can have court on the side of the road.
It's a good point, right?
And it's like you just ask for a supervisor or do all this other monkey nonsense. And no, that's not how it works.
No.
I don't know who told you ask for a supervisor and that somehow is going to delay. All that's doing is delaying the inevitable. Yeah. You're still going to jail. You're just going to jail in front of a supervisor. Speaking of that, one of the more famous viral stories here lately is the guy down in Florida who they busted the window out on and punched him in the face. Mm-hmm. And he was, I want a supervisor and I want this. Well, once they showed the video of him not complying, not getting out of the car, rolling his windows up, locking the doors, all of this performative nonsense. And people are finding out that America's done with that. We voted to make all that stop. Overwhelmingly, popular vote and all, voted for all that. And so that guy said on that video that he recorded, where's my save? Here we go. Well, this hasn't made nearly as much news as the original story, but here we go. From World Star, of all places, prosecutors clear Florida deputy in arrest of a black man punched and dragged from his car. So the deputy that everybody wanted tarred and feathered for punching the guy has been cleared of all charges by prosecutors.
You said something there about could we voted for it, and I agree with that to a certain extent, that there's definitely more of a law and order.
We voted for law and order.
But I think it's bigger than that in my mind, where it's almost like an attitude issue that we have, especially with younger people. And I've actually noticed more with white people, and I've told you that privately, than I ever have with black people. Like, white people think that, like, I shouldn't be, why am I getting pulled over? Why? And I've had several of them ask me, call and say, I mean, can a cop ask me for my license? That's a question that never would have entered my mind at any period of my life. The cop pulls me over, here it is. It's already hanging out the window. You know what I mean? But that's like
same here.
That's
I don't question. I'm not having court on the side of the road. If I got pulled over, I know why I got pulled over. Even if I don't know why, the fight ain't to be had on the side of the road.
It's not, and even if I think I'm right, you lose. You're going to lose. So just say yes, sir. I'm sorry, and do it. But I never. The question of that, do I pull out my license, has never entered my mind. And the fact that it does, I think, signals that there's a bigger problem with the way people maybe are being raised or taught things. And this goes across, I think, all races, and that's an issue. And I don't know how you rectify that.
I think we got to take a break on this. I think that a lot of white people, especially in areas that are close to Democrat hellholes like Jackson, crime-ridden hellholes, I think white people that get pulled over in the suburbs or whatever may be thinking in the back of their minds, I don't do this, but I'm going to pull the curtain back here a little bit. I think they may be thinking, with all the crap going on right over here, you're worried about me over here? I'm not saying that's right.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm just saying that processing what may be going through their heads, it is a bit of that complex, whatever you want to call it, that white superiority complex.
Oh, I've seen that a lot, right? Yeah, unfortunately.
Whatever you want to call it. It is a bit of that, and I feel like I'm making excuses for them, and I promise I'm not. I'm just trying to explain to y'all what I think maybe going through their heads.
I get what you're saying, trying to say.
You got all this going on over here, and you're worried about me over here. It's like when you see it in the comments all the time. Anytime there's a bust involving weed, it's just a plant and all of that stuff. You got all this major crime going on. You're worried about weed. And like, well, you know what? It's broken windows policing, if nothing else. If you stop the little stuff, you prevent the big stuff. Whether it's speeding, littering, whatever. If you know that we're going to mess with you over that, we're absolutely going to mess with you over the big stuff. And at least that's my philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, the simple way to put it, just because Nino Brown is over in Jackson moving a lot of dope doesn't mean you can drive 110 down, Highway 51.
Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't excuse you from not following the law.
Yeah. Just because the mayor was friends with Nino and getting him off of it doesn't mean you get to.
Right.
We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun YURTKURAN on a FAFO Friday. Swing by the website, buyfafo.com. Grab a shirt, grab a cap, get a free sticker. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. This segment brought to you by our friends at, well, let's do a little what's for lunch real quick, kind of tying a few people together. McBee's, the plate lunch of the day is fried catfish, southern fried. I actually had a bite of fried catfish from there the other day. One of the servers had some fried up, and I took a bite of it, and, man, it was really, really good. And I'm not the biggest catfish guy, but swing by, try that out. I did eat there yesterday. A buddy of mine wanted to meet and get the red beans and rice a day late, so I met him there so he could eat the red beans and rice. Of course, then he got there, and he didn't have an appetite, didn't eat it at all. But what did I get? I got the club sandwich again. Guys, you cannot go wrong with that club sandwich at McBee's. It is so, so good. Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, all 3 locations, starting with the newest one in Flowood there, right in front of Dogwood. Of course, downtown Brandon in my backyard, and Madison. The blue plate special of the day is fried catfish. You cannot go wrong with the fried catfish on a Friday. It's a Mississippi thing. You wouldn't understand. Let's see here. They also have red beans and rice with sausage and hamburger steak. They have that every day as options for the blue plate. And, of course, their award-winning burgers have the menu loaded up with plenty of great options. And don't forget the pulled pork sandwich. If you want something a little different that you might not be expecting to be great at a place that's famous for their burger, they got barbecue in the name too. It's great. Try it. Don't sleep on the pulled pork sandwich at Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. And last, not least, Martin's downtown and Martin's Livingston. It's not a fried catfish Friday. It's a fried chicken Friday. Can't go wrong with their fried chicken. And I said last but not least, and I'm wrong. There's one more great blue plate to tell you about. That is at the Manship.
Oh, yeah.
Their special of the day is fish tacos on Fridays. Look, I haven't had them. Everything else there is absolutely phenomenal.
They're really good.
I was going to say, I can't imagine them not being fantastic if you like fish tacos.
Everything there is great. I was just thinking the sponsors you've read out are all places that I go. Like, it's
Same.
not just that, they're all really good places. Just not just saying that, but they
No,
are.
legitimately. They all started out as places I went.
Yeah. And then now
And I was already going, and they were like, well, he's talking about us. We might as well pay him. So it kind of worked out, but good for all parties involved.
No, that's great. They're all great places. They're all really good places.
And we told you about the blue plate out at Cypress Point earlier. It's the ribeye steak sandwich today. And we're going to be out there. I say I'm going to be out there at 12:30. Anybody wants to join me? I'm going to be there enjoying a ribeye steak sandwich for lunch. Don't meet me there. Beat me there out at Cypress Point Resort at about 12:30. I'll be on time or a few minutes late, but I'll be there before 1. I'll tell you that. All right, Shaun, we've gotten a lot of feedback on the Guns and Gear text line and the chat about people enjoying having us back on the show together. I think
great. Thank you all.
Yeah, I think what it does is it presents a little yin and a yang, and it's good to have conversations sometimes. And I was telling Shaun that I was riding up to Kosciuszko the other day, and we were talking on the phone, and I was like, I know my ceiling at the end of the day. Like, I know, like, I can get on here and rant about things for 2 hours. More times than not, you guys know exactly what side of an argument I'm probably going to be on. And if you enjoy hearing me rant about it, you'll keep listening. But I think that does create a ceiling for my growth when people already kind of know how you're going to react to something. I do throw curveballs every now and then. But what I think is great about having guests like Shaun on is Shaun is a unique individual, and you don't always know what side he's going to fall on a topic as a outspoken Democrat. He may take the right side of an argument. He may take the left side. He may come up with a whole nother side that you don't even expect because of his experience in the criminal justice system. So I think it's really good having someone like Shaun on a regular basis because it creates conversation that you're not going to have otherwise. So that's why I enjoy doing it, because it makes me, I've said this forever, ever since the first episode when people were texting in saying, I'll never listen again if you have him back on the show.
All right.
And I just always thought that was so funny. It's like we were violating conservative safe space by having a Democrat on the WYAB airwaves. Like, it was sacrilegious. Like, what are you doing? I can find a Democrat anywhere. Why is there a Democrat on WYAB? I was like, because I want to have real conversations with people, other than just them calling in angry. Let's actually talk. But it's been fun. So we're glad that you've grown and got your own show, and you and Lindsay done y'all's thing, and this has all been fun to watch happen in live time over the last 2 years. So it'll be fun to have you back here on Fridays.
Oh, I'm excited about it. I was just thinking what you said. It's funny when you're the kind of person that has just a very different views on issues that just definitely always don't fit in a box.
Right.
This don't. You get hate. It's kind of worse because you kind of get hate from everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll do most of my social media posts when I talk about politics is kind of comedic, and I'll take an issue where Trump did. A few months ago, he talked about this most favored nation status and making drug prices fair in the United States as compared to the rest of the world. And I was like, this is one of the greatest things I ever heard. I love this. And so I write a post about it. I get, all my friends on the left just jump on me. And then
we love overpaying for our medicine.
Yeah. Then Trump did something else, and that I didn't like, and I can't remember what it was, and I wrote about that, and then all the guys on the right they're jumping on me, and then I'm like, God bless, I can't win for losing. Everybody's just mad.
Look, it keeps them guessing though.
Yeah, it does. For sure.
It drives conversation, it drives engagement, and it means you're an authentic individual. You know, like I catch a lot of flack from people about, you know, my opinion on the gay stuff and it not bothering me. Now, there's a big difference in the LGBTQ agenda and somebody being gay or somebody being trans. There are people who literally are just living their lives and they're not clubbing you upside the head with their who they like to have sex with.
Yeah.
Or what their kink is. And that's fine. Do your thing, boo-boo. You know, do your thing. You know, so it's good to be yourself, be authentic, and you'll go a lot further in life not being an NPC bot that gets programmed up by the mainstream media or your right-wing or left-wing think tankers that load you up with your talking points for the day.
Yeah, I think that's like it's for some reason like if people think that, well, if my party, let me go check what my party thinks about this, and then so I'll know what I think about it.
Yeah.
Like I just don't approach issues that way. I'm like, what do I like this DC crime thing? Well, there's a lot. I think probably the majority of the left are against it, but I looked at it like, let me look at this. Okay, I know people in DC, got a lot of friends there, been there many times. It's got a crime problem, so he's trying to fix the crime problem, and that's bad. Like, did somebody? You know, like it doesn't make any sense for me to say that I think that's bad. Yeah. But I think people just immediately are going to fall into whatever box, and they don't like what the other side is going to do on any particular issue, no matter if it's something that helped them. You know, like drug prices. Like, oh my God, I want to pay overpay, like you were just saying. Nobody wants to overpay for drugs, for prescription drugs, or illegal ones. But they don't want to do that, and but they just because somebody on the opposing side proposes it, they're like, oh God, like I can't, now I got to come up with I got to use some mental gymnastics of why I'm against this. I think I read that too when he was talking about that. It was something about, well, that's going to, reduce innovation. That's what it was. Yes. Like, so people on the left were like, well, it's going to cut down on innovation. And that's why we need to pay more for prescription drugs than the rest of the world. I'm like, you get the heck out of here. You know how much my mother pays for prescription drugs? Like, y'all just need to shut up. But anyway, and it's just, people do that a lot on their respective sides. And it's really kind of ridiculous in my mind. So.
Well, it's like if you have to Google or Chat GPT, Grok, how you're supposed to think about something based on your political affiliation, you're doing it wrong. Like, go with your gut feeling. Like, you shouldn't have to ask your AI chatbot, why, as a Republican, am I supposed to be for school choice? Mm-hmm. Or right. Why? What is the conservative stance on this topic, so I make sure I'm on the right side of it?
Well, that's a great example you just bring, because I know you're obviously against school choice, and I'm for it. But Democrats are generally against dual choice, right?
Right.
And I've been against their position for the last several decades because I think they want to prop up the public school industrial complex, and that's all they care about, and that annoys me. So that's why, and so I've always bucked that. I'm like, just because my side is like, we're pro public school. Well, no, you're not. You're pro the people that work at the public schools, but you're not pro the kids. And that's what's always bothered me about that position going back literally like 25 years. I've been kind of talking about that. And so that pisses your own side off, but I'm like, why should, just because the Democrats say that I need to be for this, why do I have to do that?
And
that's kind of what you're saying.
In my opinion on the Democrats being against it is like they're against it for a different reason than I am.
Sure.
And like for me, I think like the Democrats want to protect how the message is disseminated, how it's put out there, like what's being taught. Like they're very firm about wanting to push their version of American history, their version of everything. Their woke agenda, whatever you want to call it. Like, I feel like that's what Democrats want to protect that, where I'm against it because I believe that community matters. And like-minded, being your kids being raised around other kids who are from parents of like-minded individuals, and community pride and sense of community, and all of that matters. I also believe that it will hurt property values in, say, Brandon or Pearl when the school district becomes irrelevant. I believe it will help somewhere like Jackson's property values when the school district becomes irrelevant. And, I can live here and send my kids to school over here, and it's cheaper to live over here. Well, it won't be cheaper for long if the school district doesn't matter. And there's just a lot of little things that I disagree with about it on the public school to public school side of it. Let's take a break real quick. We can pick this back up on the other side. We'll be right back with Shaun YURTKURAN on The Clay Edwards Show. Come back in to The Clay Edwards Show here with Shaun YURTKURAN on a FAFO Friday. Guys, get out to Ellis Autoplex this weekend for all of your four-door, four-wheel drive pre-owned pickup needs. But, hey, man, they got way more than just four-door, four-wheel drive pickups. They have some two-wheel drive ones also. And look, they got cars, SUVs as well. They specialize in what seems to be F-150s, F-250s. If you're in the market for a pre-owned F-Series Ford, swing by. See my buddy Casey Ellis and his team today. Shop them online, ellisautoplex.com. And look, don't forget, they buy vehicles. They're going to scratch you a local check that you can go deposit or cash today. No Facebook Marketplace scams, no fake cashier's checks. You ain't getting none of that with Ellis Autoplex. They're going to make you a fair market value offer. They're not trying to steal your trade in from you. They're not trying to lowball you. They're going to show you the data. They're going to show you how they got to that number. It's fair. It's balanced. It's not Fox News. It's Ellis Autoplex. Get over there, Highway 471, Flowood, Mississippi. Tell Casey I said hello. All right, man. Also, you out car shopping, swing by to see our friends on the new car side at Mazda of Jackson this weekend, where your first year of maintenance on all new Mazdas is free, and it comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. And they got interest rates starting as low as 1.9%. There's upsides to buying pre-owned. There's upsides to buying new. Decide which one's best for you at one of our great car dealership sponsors here on the Clay Edwards Show, whether it's Mazda Jackson or Ellis Autoplex. They both got you covered for a whole different variety of vehicle needs. All right, man. Let's see here. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. I saw Hunter yesterday. Stopped by there for a few minutes. Introduced him to another buddy of mine. They got some great stuff going on out there. If you're in the market for guns and ammo, swing by and see them this weekend. They're open today and tomorrow. They're closed on Sundays and Mondays. All right, Shaun, we got about 5-6 minutes left of this circus.
All right.
We were talking about school choice.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to club that topic upside the head too much. I'm going to go talk to somebody about it today that's trying to explain to me why I'm wrong in so many words. And look, I'm all for listening to folks that I respect and want to do it politely. And then there's folks that I just don't have respect for, that I have no intentions on listening to how they say things. People who insert themselves into my personal business and whatnot. So it's interesting. At the end of the day, and I'm just going to say this, at the end of the day, I think the overwhelming majority of the people that are for school choice are grifters, and that they 100% have a financial interest in school choice getting passed because they're in the business of charter schools, or they're going to be in the business of charter schools. And when you take $1 trillion industry like education and you privatize it, somebody's going to make billions of dollars. And you have Clay Edwards over here with the large platform screaming at people about how culture rot is going to creep into the suburban schools. I'm a thorn in their side that they need to shut up.
The only thing, my only counter to that, though, from what I'm understanding, and I've not read the whole bill or whatever bill, it seems like there's been many of them. It's not going to be like hundreds of students, right? Like that's the impression that I've gotten. I don't know if you've gotten one differently than that. It's going to be a few number of students.
They say that.
Okay,
I just don't believe them.
I got you. I'm just saying that's what's the impression I got, and that the schools can accept whatever number they want to. Like it's up to the actual individual school district. We're talking about public schools here. Yeah. I assume the private thing is the same because they're a private school. But.
Yeah, well, they can accept whatever number they choose to. And where do you draw the line? And what is the
based on their capacity?
What is the criteria? Like what kid gets picked and what kid doesn't? Is it 100% based on grades? Is it race?
It should be grades, I would think.
You know, I think
that would be it.
So if we have a kid that's having a hard time learning, and could probably use to be, being in a better school, we're gonna punish them over a kid that seems to be excelling in that school. Well, this guy's got an A+ average.
I see your argument.
This guy has a C and is struggling to get by average, but he's showing up every day.
That's a good point.
So we're gonna say no to him. When this guy probably needs it more than this guy. Like, how do you decide that?
Well, I think as far as I've been,
does it come down to white or black?
Yeah, as far as I've been it's like the school gets to pick whether, the number. But I see where you're saying, I mean, could there be some kind of lawsuits filed if they discriminate against somebody?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a possibility. But I don't know enough about
Yeah.
the selection criteria and how that works.
Well, I don't think they do either.
But I don't think it's going to be like, let's say 500 kids from Jackson come to Rankin County schools. Like, that's kind of what the impression that I've gotten from it, that it's not going to be that kind of like influx. The other thing I would say about that too, and you know this, I remember I was doing this program out of my old church where we'd mentor kids in Jackson, and one kid we were trying to get enrolled, and we couldn't in high school, and we couldn't even get his parents to help us. You know what I mean? And so like I think there's a lot of that too, where like I'm just wondering how many parents. And if the parents that are going to try to move their kids to a better school, like they're actually involved parents, it would seem if they're going to do that, they're going to provide their own transportation, they're going to do all that stuff. Because most of the ones that I've encountered weren't involved.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm just wondering if the influx of people is going to happen. Like I just don't know.
Yeah, I've heard the skin in the game argument, and and I've got counters for that as well.
Yeah.
Because every good parent can't always make the time to take their kid 30 minutes each way to get them to and from.
Sure. Right.
But I don't think that should be a qualifier for if somebody's a good parent or how much skin they have in the game just because they can't get away because they work 3 jobs or they work 12-hour shifts and whatnot and can't physically get away to do it. If somebody works from 6A to 6P a day, well, they can't take their kid to and from school.
No, that's true. I mean,
but does their kid deserve a lesser of an education because of it? It's very complicated, and I just think that at the end of the day, community pride. Like, just look around Jackson, Shaun, especially in the black community, for example, because they take a lot of pride in their high schools, and no matter how old they are, they're still screaming about what high school they went to, Provine.
Have you driven by Callaway recently? It's very nice.
Yeah,
still
stuff
very
like
nice.
that. And I'm not saying this is a knock towards the black community. Please don't take it that way. I know people think just because I say black that it automatically means I'm insulting. I'm not. I actually really enjoy keeping up with their high school drama, their rivalries. You know what I mean? I dig it. I love that even at 50 years old, they take homecoming serious.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose that when you start moving people from Jackson or wherever to a different district. We got to take a break. Okay. We'll be right back to land the plane for the day, for the week. All right, online audience. Appreciate everybody tuning in today. Thank you for all the happy birthdays. Thank you for all the well wishes to Shaun being back on the show.
Yep, thanks. Appreciate it.
And I promise I'm not going to talk about school choice nonstop. I could, but at the end of the day, you guys know my thoughts on it. As we get closer to time to hold these representatives accountable for the vote they may or may not make, we'll start really cranking it up and cranking up the data and let you guys call your – I'm not going to tell you which way to go. I'm just going to tell you listen to both sides of the argument, decide what you think is best for your community, and call your representatives and let them know how you want them to vote. Let them know your feelings. And look, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If only people who are for it call, they're going to assume that they're speaking for the majority. If only people who are against it call, they're going to think that they speak for the majority. So let them know how you feel about it. And look, my stance is pretty firm. I don't want to reward people of Jackson who have decided to destroy their community. I don't want to let those same people bring that poison into the community that I have moved to get away from them. I mean, my stance is pretty simple on that. So look, y'all have a great one. Shaun, you got any closing words?
No, that's it, man. Everybody, thanks for welcoming me back. I'm excited to be here every Friday, so it should be fun. I'm excited. We had a lot of topics to hit today, but we landed on what we do. That's what we do. Shaun's like, what are we going to talk about last night? I said, I'm probably going to jump down a rabbit hole and not come out of it. And that's pretty much what happened. I think we talked about one thing that we were going to talk about, and that was the DC stuff. Yeah. And we'll see you guys. I'll see y'all back Monday, and Shaun, we'll see y'all at minimum Friday. Yep. So. All right, y'all make sure you're following Shaun at Shaun YURTKURAN. You can find him on Facebook and text his website, One Text Law, not text his website, but if you have any criminal stuff, onetextlaw.com, the number or the word, onetextlaw.com to get in touch with Shaun for any criminal matters or any attorney matters. All right, peace. Thanks. We'll come back and land the plane for radio.
Back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, 10 seconds or less here. Get over to Core Therapy, Core Wellness and Therapy this weekend and get yourself an IV hydration IV. I guess that's right. Yeah, how about a hydration IV? Get loaded up with all the vitamins and nutrients you need to stay hydrated or to crush a hangover and so much else in between. They got them all. Check them out, Core Wellness. Don't want to do an IV? Try the cryotherapy chamber, the infrared sauna, the red light therapy, the lymphatic drainage massage. Man, they got so many different things over there. Keep you busy for days, feeling better, taking care of yourself. It's called biohacking, and it's all available at Core Therapy and Wellness. Shaun, I talked too long. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all Monday. Peace. Oh, crap, we weren't live.